Hey, good morning guys, Dave here, back with a second video for this project that we're working on here. This is the shop cabinet portion of this whole mitre-station project. In the first video, we cut all the material down, did all the dimensions, got everything right, got all of our pieces here. We've got our gables, our left and right sides, we've got our top and bottoms, and then over here we got all of our shelves. So it's looking pretty good. In this video, I'm going to do some a little bit of light sanding. This is just an orbital sander, 240 grit. I'm going to try to just sand either side and get the edges down. If you look, grab this piece. It's got a pretty good right here. It's got a lot of that chip out. All these little splinters that come off from the table saw. So I want to get all that off using this sander. That's going to prepare our material for some edge banding, which will be the second part of this video. So we'll do some sanding, and then we'll do some edge banding, and then we'll end the video there, and then we'll get the third video out, and that'll be the actual assembly of the carcass itself. So we'll get started on some sanding, and this will take a little bit, so I won't bore you with it. We'll just start knocking it out, and then we'll come back for the second part. So stay tuned. Okay, so we're finished sanding all of our pieces, and now it's time to do some edge banding. Got this down to 240 grit, it's nice and smooth. The purpose of edge banding, I'll be doing frameless cabinets, which means that this plywood layer would be visible if I didn't cover it up. You can either do a face frame, or in this case, put some edge banding on that. I like the edge banding. So the tools that I'll be using, the edge banding itself, this is white birch. It's actually got adhesive on the back that you heat up with an iron, and then you glue it onto your piece. This is a new roll. The species is white birch. They come in a lot of different species and a lot of different sizes. You can find them anywhere. This is a edge banding trim tool. I'll show you how that works later. Got a razor blade to cut off the ends. Got a roller to apply pressure to the adhesive while I'm applying it. Got my hot iron. And for my vise, I'm using a Craig K5 jig because I don't have a vise. So we'll get this all set up, and then I'll show you how I do it. All right, so let me show you how I do this. This is really simple, very, very easy to do. Just line up, measure out about how much of the edge banding you need. I usually go about a ½ inch or so over. Take a pair of scissors, cut that in a straight line. And you're going to start on one end. The edge banding centered right on the wood. And you're going to take your hot iron, and you're going to heat up that adhesive. And I do about 6 or 8 inches at a time. I'll heat it up so it's nice and hot. Apply pressure with the iron. Like that. Then I'll grab my fabric roller here, and I'll just push down on that little section that I did. And I'll roll it out for 10 seconds or so. pushing down firmly. Right? And I'll just continue going down the line here. About 6 or 8 inches at a section. And then I'll roll that out. And then I'll finish it off real quick here. The last section. Trying to keep my iron flat. I don't want to tip it left or right or push it towards any of the edges of the edge banding because you can chip it off. Keep that up nice, so it's nice and hot. All right, I'll get that last section, and I'll just roll it on right to the edge. Don't go too far because you'll break off the end. You want to cut that off with a razor blade, not your roller. So, okay, get that, that's on there. So now what I'll do is I'll take this out of my K5, put it aside, let it dry. It only takes about 15 minutes to dry, but I've got a lot of these to do, so I'm just gonna zip through them. And then by the time I'm done with the last one, for sure, the first one and then the second one and the third one will all be dry and ready to be trimmed up. So I'll get this done and then I'll come back once I'm finished with all the edge banding and show you how to trim it up. Okay, so we got all the edge banding on. Took about 45 minutes or so. Now the glue is all completely dry, so I want to show you how I trim my edge banding. If you can kind of see, this would be the overlap on the edge of the plywood. And all I do is I take just a sharp edge razor, I just score the underside a couple of times, and then I just bend it and it breaks right off. So pretty simple to do. Get the other side real quick. Okay, and then for the sides, raise this up a little bit. Okay, for the sides, what I do is I take this two-sided edge banding trimmer, and if you look in here, you see these little U-shaped slots. So that's where the excess from the edge banding is going to go, and it's going to trim that off. So you want to make sure that it's oriented correctly, like it is there. And when you start it, you just apply pressure, you squeeze and just apply pressure as you push down the entire length of your circle. And the end result is a nice, smooth, trimmed up piece of edge banding. Now I will go back when all is done and I'll just give this a quick sand with a block sander just to keep it from any scuff marks showing up. So I'll finish the rest of these and then we'll go to the next step. Hey guys, wanted to add one more step to this video before we close it out. I'm going to drill all of these shelf pin holes on the inside sides of the two gables, the two sides of the cabinet. And you want to make sure that you orient your panels correctly so that the edge banding is on the outside or the side that's facing you if you're looking at it. And then what I like to do is I like to mark up whatever side's going to be the bottom. Just put a little arrow there so it helps me orientate later that this is the left side because the edge banding is here and this is the bottom, so that I know how to assemble them later. There's another reason for that. This is a 31-inch long panel, which it's going to be 31 inches high for the cabinet. So what I want to do is divide this into thirds, and it's difficult to do when it's 31 inches. You end up getting like 10.333, blah, 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 right? So they don't have to be exactly the same height or same width, each of the thirds. So what I'm gonna do is just start from the bottom, and since it was 10.333 whatever, I'm just gonna come up 10 3/16, and I'm gonna make a mark, and then I'm gonna go up to 20 3/8. I'm gonna make a mark. And I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm gonna end up being like a 1/2 inch higher on that top shelf, which is fine. I'll just put bigger stuff on that top shelf, right? So now what I'm gonna do is take a speed square and I'm just gonna draw a light line on that inside of that panel to mark my center. Same thing here. And I'll do the same for the other side, which would be the back of the inside. And the key to this is you got to make sure you come from the same end so that your measurements are exactly in line with the other side. You don't want to start from this side and then come down 10.3 and then 20 3/8 because you'll be off, right? So we're going to come from the bottom of the cabinet and we're going to go 10, let's see, 10 and 3, and then 20 3/8. Mark that on the speed square. And with these pencil marks, you can just come back with a sander, lightly sand over it with that 240 grit I was using earlier. Or you can leave it because it's a shop cabinet and who really cares. So Craig makes an awesome jig. This is what I use for shelf pins. It's a shelf pin jig. It's great. You just clamp it on to your workbench. And it's got 6 holes. You can actually put 2 of these together if you want. There's a little clip that comes with it, so you can have 8 if you wanted to do that. The only thing about this that is a drawback is it doesn't have a center point marked on the jig. So it's 7.5 inches long. I just found the 3 3/4 and made a mark with my Sharpie. And that's how we'll do this. That's how we'll line it up. So I'll line up that Sharpie with that line that I just drew. Throw a clamp on it, make sure it's lined up good. Comes with the drill bit already set. All you have to do is figure out how many you want. I'm only gonna put 2. The middle 2 are gonna be my shelf adjustment. And there's your shelf pin holes right there. And I'll move over and hit this side here. Line it up, get it perfect. Get these exactly right. Double check it before you drill the hole. Good. Now I'll flip it around. This would be the back side of the inside of the cabinet. And we'll make our holes here. One more. There we go. And we're done. So that's one panel. The key to this is to making sure that you're drilling the holes on the right side of the panel. So check your edge banding. If you did edge banding, it's on this side here. I know that when this stands up, this is definitely going to be the inside because that edge banding is on, which is going to be on the front facing out. All right. So I'll knock out the rest of these gables or these side panels, get all the shelf pin holes in place, and then that'll conclude it for this video. In the next video that I'll put out, that'll be a little bit more in depth. We'll get into the assembly. I'll show you all the jigs that I use to assemble and get it so it's perfectly square every time. And that'll be in the next video that will be coming out hopefully tomorrow or the day after that. So thanks for watching, stay tuned, and we'll see you on the next one.